Stop! Stop, I say. Stop asking for referrals. Now, that's not very conventional advice in trying to market you and grow your business. In fact, people are out there saying, hey, get a referral mindset. Or you need to have a stream of endless referrals. There will be people who will tell you that the primary purpose of every appointment is to get names, to get a lead, to get a referral. Well, today on The Marketing Life, I'm Stan Houston, and I'm going to tell you that you should stop asking for referrals. That's right. And we'll tell you what you should do. That's next on The Marketing Life. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Stan Houston, your marketing life coach, committed to helping you to live well, to market you so you can grow your business, so that you can make more money and have more fun. But most importantly, so that you can make a difference in the lives of other people. And today, I'd like to just take a few minutes to break a few of the old ideas down. To help you better understand that it's not about asking for referrals. Indeed, you will discover that we're more concerned with not asking for referrals, but deserving recommendations. Now, let that just sit on your head for a while. Stop asking for referrals and start deserving recommendations. Well, before we get into that, though, here on the show, I have a little bit of news. And from time to time, we just simply like to get you caught up on some of the things that are going on, particularly in, as we would say, marketing, how to live a marketing life, particularly how to use the media and the technology that's available to you. And again, remember our idea that you need not only to market yourself, you need to find a mentor and perhaps be a mentor to other people. Again, having a center of influence, having people who begin to trust you and know you and care for you and are being benefited by you, that's far more important than any of the other stuff. Well, part of the news is things truly are changing. Just before I began the program, I asked my extraordinary producer, Josh, if he was able to go to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And he said to me, well, no, I want to. And of course, as a Chicago Cubs fan, I'll say the proverbial, well, maybe next year. Maybe next year Josh will get to go. Well, recently, Bloomberg, in the Bloomberg Business Week, said there will be the great tablet grab of 2011, and we have heard that Apple, along with Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation, is going to come out with a situation where it will be a daily news, weekly news, daily magazine. And it will not just be text, it will be video. The world is changing. Some people are now predicting that within 3 to 5 years, almost everyone will have an iPad tablet type device. And there's going to be a bunch of them. Apple got the jump. They're out there. But there will be many more who will jump in. And perhaps in the very near future, we're going to get all of our stuff. We still may have that computer and that laptop, but a lot of our information, our movies, our entertainment, you'll even watch The Marketing Life Coach on your tablet, because that will be the way people communicate and share information and messages, and we'll all have one. I'd like to know a little bit about that from you. Would you tell me a couple things? First of all, are any of you using the electronic readers, the Kindles, the electronic books? Again, there's a variety of people who are making them similar to the Amazon Kindle. Please tell me, do you like it? How's it working out for you? I'd love to hear how you do electronic books reading. So let me know at stan@marketinglifecoach.com, stan@marketinglifecoach.com. I'd love to hear how you are using the electronic readers. And perhaps give me a little bit of review. Those of you who are into your iPad and your tablets, how are you using it? How's it working out? What do you think of that prediction that in 3 to 5 years it will be as common as the cell phone and we will get all of our stuff, or most of our stuff, on our tablet? So respond to me. Again, it's stan@marketinglifecoach.com. We'd love to hear from you. And perhaps we'll talk about some of your good recommendations and pass on to the rest of the community and the rest of the network just some of your thoughts about how this new technology is working out. Because it will be the dominant technology, not only in marketing, but in messaging and in computing throughout 2011 and 2012. I also want to point something else out. You're going to find that we're going to be talking about this shortly, because we're here to help you market yourself and grow your business. And for years, I've been talking about the power of storytelling, particularly in how to market yourself and how to do business. We talked about that Super Bowl commercial. I said, try and turn it into a story. And if you, again, looked at the better commercials, and they were a mixed lot this year, particularly for the Super Bowl. I didn't think there was anything that particularly stood out as being incredibly creative and memorable. But the ones that approach that are telling stories. And the McKinsey Consulting Company, you know, the big shot gurus who do this high buck consulting for the big Fortune 100 companies, recently came out with an article. May I tell you the title? The Power of Storytelling: What Nonprofits Can Teach the Private Sector About Social Media. And that brings our topics back to what we're all about: media, marketing, and how we get our message out there. And so I would encourage you, the power of storytelling, what nonprofits can teach the private sector about social media. If you'd like to know more about that, again, stan@marketinglifecoach.com, stan@marketinglifecoach.com. We'll tell you where you can get the article, or you can probably Google it at McKinseyQuarterly.com, McKinseyQuarterly.com, and it's the most recent publication they have put out. They'll ask you to register, as most people usually do. Great article, very helpful. We will be having a whole series of stories on how to market yourself telling stories, how to market and grow your business and grow your community, your tribe, by the power of storytelling. I challenge people with this statement: storytelling is the only effective means of communication. You can educate people, you can inform people, you can do that in a variety of ways, but if you want to affect their behavior, you have to tell a story. And that's what McKinsey is talking about. You will need a signature story. You will need a signature Super Bowl 1-minute commercial that will help tell your story. And without the power of stories in your marketing portfolio, perhaps a life story, a product story, a client story, a customer story, and shortly I'll be introducing you to someone who helped me, and we work together on the best way to overcome objections. You get those all the time. It's not that old feel, felt, found stuff. I know how you feel. Others have felt, found. Forget that. That's old stuff. That's old sales training. The best way to work with an objection is not to overcome it, but to simply say, tell me more. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you feel that way and why you feel that way? And then you simply say, you know, that reminds me of a story. Or with your permission, may I tell you a story? So that's one of the signature offerings we have at Marketing Life Coach, the power of storytelling. So I'd love to hear from you. First of all, check out that article and see if you can give me some insights from your own experience there. Tell me a little bit about the electronic readers and the book readers you're using, and your thoughts about the coming war, obviously, and the coming use of the tablet, which will probably change the way we do information, media, messaging, and, of course, marketing. And please remember, though, it's not just the technology, it's you and your life and how you treat people. Ultimately, people will buy you. No matter what you're offering, they'll buy you first. And that's why you are marketing you, and that's why you are living the marketing life. Think about it. Well, I said I was going to talk about referrals, and then I said, I want you to stop asking for referrals. Now, if I'm doing things right, we're doing a little signature stuff here. One of the lessons of marketing is to keep people wanting more, create a little bit of mystery. Hopefully they'll want to know a little bit more about that. And we'll have products and services and ways that you can become a master, not at obtaining referrals, but as I said, deserving recommendations. Now, as you're creating your persona and you're creating your stories, there will be things that we call signatures. For instance, my good friend Josh there in the control room says, we're going to do a little side shots from time to time in black and white because, Stan, that's going to be one of the ways that we will create a signature for you, a little difference. And doesn't he do a good job on that? The signature shot. Well, one of my signature stories is one that I tell often. And perhaps you've heard it before. And even if you have heard it before, you're going to hear it again, and you probably will hear it again as we do it. And it simply is this: what if many, many, many years ago when I met this a wonderful woman who has now graced my life for over 45 years, and what if on that first date, and when I invited Karen, my bride-to-be in a few years out, I would have said to her, Karen, it's so nice to meet you. Can we spend the next 20 minutes or a half hour talking about me? Which is exactly how you have been taught to do selling. How would that have gone? And then let's assume that I survived that faux pas. I'm walking her back to the dormitory at the University of Minnesota, and it's a cold day, so we hustle in. And then I'm standing in the lobby of the women's dorm, and I say, Karen, you know, this has been a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed being with you. And Karen, you know that I do like girls. Perhaps there's some other girls in the dormitory that you can suggest that I call on. What am I asking for? Referrals! How is that going to work out? Well, I tell you that somewhat exaggerated story for you to just begin to think about some of the things you may have learned about asking for referrals. Now, you don't need a full-time referral coach. You don't need to read all of the books on referrals. There will be some basic lessons that we'll talk about on this program and then on later videos that will help you not only gain what some people call a referral mindset, but I would say something even more important, a deep desire to be useful. That's the mindset I want you to have. I want you to say to yourself, when I'm in front of another person, whether I'm pitching a product, a program, a service, how can I be useful? Now, very simply, in the next 10 minutes for the show, can I just give you 3 starting points to help you begin to do it differently? Now, the first thing you have to understand is most people don't want to give you a referral. It's hard. It's embarrassing. They're not sure how it's going to work out. And please, when I might say, well, Jack, who do you know that might want to coach? Oh, my God, I don't know. And then I say, well, start listing names. I get nervous, I get upset, and then I'm afraid that they'll call on them and they'll come back to me and say, why did you sick that coach? Or why did you sick that insurance person on me? Or why did you sick that car salesman on me? They are very much afraid that what's going to happen is that the person that you gave the name to or the person that you were recommending, they're not going to feel very good about it. They're going to be embarrassed by it. Their friends are going to be upset by it. So please keep in mind, most people are reluctant to give you a referral, particularly when you badger them down by saying, who do you know? Or can you recommend me to this person? Or who could I call on? Here you have just spoiled the experience. And remember, it is the client experience which is primary. So if you've been taught, who do you know? Can you give me some names? Who might I call on? Who might else benefit from my service? Can you give me a lead, a name, etc.? Please keep in mind you're asking for referrals, and for the most part, as someone who's been on the other side of that deal, I don't like it. I don't like that to be a part of the experience. I want to enjoy it. And I'd like for you to believe that just for once you cared more about me. I didn't want Karen to think that that whole evening was about her giving me names for other dates. It was about Karen. I was going to treat her as the most important person in the world. I was not going to see her as a source of names or leads or something else. She was the person I was focusing on, not my business and what I want and who she can recommend from her group of people who would be helpful to me. I was going to be helpful and useful to her and to her needs. So that's the first thing I want you to remember. Whenever you go out there seeking and asking for referrals, you are possibly putting people in a very uncomfortable and very nervous position. Lesson 1. Lesson 2. Don't even use the word referral anymore, please. Now, one of the things that I used to say a number of years ago, and I'll just bring it up quickly, when President Bill Clinton, unfortunately, had impeachment charges put against him, the legal term is he was referred for impeachment. And oftentimes the term referral means that you have been referred for legal action against you. And by the way, I don't want a referral. I want something better. I want a recommendation. Think about that. Isn't that what you really want? You don't want someone to say, well, why don't you see Jack? He's a mortgage guy. Or why don't you see Sue? She's really good at long-term care insurance. Or, you know what? If you're unhappy with your car insurance, why don't you see Ralph? That's a referral. That's good. Wouldn't you prefer a recommendation? You know, Stan understands marketing better than anybody I know. Or as one of my good friends said, as he called a person without even me asking, after a wonderful session, he picked up the phone. And thank you, Roy, I appreciated this so much. He picked up the phone, called somebody in his office and said, Maxine, if you don't visit with Stan Houston, you're crazy. And then he smiled. And then he laughed. He said, he's that good. You need to talk to him. I got a recommendation. So I don't even use the word referral anymore. I want to think in terms of being so good and so helpful and so useful that people will recommend me. So, lesson number 2, don't ask for referrals, deserve a recommendation. And that means that I truly have to deserve it. Now, many of you are in the insurance and investment business. Supposedly, you helped a person buy an insurance policy. And so you went through all the procedures of the fact finder, and you did all the feeling finders, and you did all that, and you closed the deal and got it through underwriting. And now you bring the insurance policy forward. And then you're supposed to ask for referrals. I'm going to ask you this question. Why do you deserve a referral? Why do you deserve a recommendation? You just did what you were supposed to. You took the information, you closed a deal, you perhaps got paid, and you delivered the policy or the product. That's what you're supposed to do. Why would you deserve a recommendation for just doing what you're supposed to do? What did you do that was extra? What did you do that was extraordinary? Unless you have done something that is above and beyond what you're supposed to do, maybe you don't deserve a recommendation. And as I used to say on late night radio, just let that sit on your head for a while. Finally, this is lesson 3, but there are a lot more things that we can teach you. And if you'd like to invite me to come and speak to your group or be with you or come to your company to talk about how to really get recommendations and not just referrals, we'd be glad to do that. You know how to reach me. But lesson number 3 we'll start for today is use words based on thanks. Now, here's the best way to start. Let's say you've done something for somebody, and they're grateful. And if someone says, thank you very much, what do you say? Let's say you've given somebody some good service, that car accident, and you got it all fixed up and put it together, like when my daughter was in an automobile accident. And Diana Brettiger, one of my good friends, who handles my insurance, it was all taken care of. I didn't have to worry about it. And I thanked her for all she had done. I didn't deal with a 1-800 number or someone I didn't know. She made a point of making sure that everything went well. And so my daughter, who was nervous and upset by it, the person who was hit was upset by it, everybody had a great experience. And I knew that I was well taken care of. And so I say, thank you, Diana. Thank you very, very much. Now, whenever you get somebody who really thanks you, one of the things that you can simply say is this: thank you. I love dealing with people like you. I really appreciate you. Please recommend me to your friends. Did you get that? Or here's another statement: I'm grateful for your recommendations. Or with a smile, I might say, I love working with people just like you and perhaps friends like you, so I would be grateful if you would recommend me to others. Do you see the difference? Rather than, well, who do you know? Or can you give me some names? Or do you have some leads? Or. Now, she feels good, I feel good because she affirmed me, my friends, my circle of influence. And she used words like grateful. I would be thankful. Isn't that far better than who do you know? Well, that's just lesson 3 in how to stop asking for referrals and start deserving recommendations. Well, of course, the rest of the program is about how do you really get to the point where you are continually deserving recommendations and then using the language which allows people to truly and correctly and in good favor with them give you those recommendations. Well, as we oftentimes say in radio, TV, and books, that's another book, that's another speech, and that's another show, and we'll be going down that road pretty soon. Stop asking for referrals, start deserving recommendations. Hopefully I've been helpful and useful to you today so that as you're going out into that tough economy, knowing that you really do perhaps would like endless referrals, you really would like a number of people to start referring you and perhaps doing more than that, recommending you to others, just think about that. Make sure you deserve a recommendation. Thank people and tell people that you would be grateful for recommendations. And be the kind of person who treats those people as if they were the most important person in the world, and they might reciprocate by recommending you to others. Just something to think about. Thank you for your time. I'm Stan Houston. Please recommend me to all your friends, to your company. I would be grateful if you'd let other people know that good things happen here every week on the Marketing Life Coach. All the best, all the blessings to you. We'll see you again next week. Until then, gain a recommendation, give a recommendation, and bye for now.